So thank you for watching this video. One, there's going to be a lot of value in this video, so I'm not sure how long it's going to be. It could be an hour, it could be 30 minutes. I know it's definitely going to be longer than 20 minutes. There's no way I'm going to be able to get all this done in 10 minutes. But then to ensure that you learn as much stuff, I've jam-packed a bunch of value, a bunch of things that you probably didn't know, a bunch of motivation in this video. So I thank you for taking the time out to watch the whole thing. Originally, this presentation I put together was to achieve your goals, right? And then as I was getting more into it, I realized that you really can't achieve your goals without having a system of habits in place to reach that goal, to overcome it, and then, go on to the next goal. So it's important to have a system of habits in place. So I realized that I have to talk about habits too. So we're going to go over not only a guide to achieve your goals, but how to organize these habits and assemble them in a way to where you can build up to achieve your goal, on top of using my personal example of going to the gym and how I started going to the gym and creating that as a habit. I literally went from not going to the gym and just staying inside all day to just going almost every day. So first, to get started, let me just say, one, I am an amateur when it comes to putting in presentations, so just bear with me. However, I'd say it looks pretty good. Nonetheless, let's get started. So this is the ultimate guide to achieving your goals, the most efficient way to get things done and live a better life, because realistically, that's all what we want to do. We all want to live a better life. And the best part about this is once I figured it out, right, a system, because that's what I lacked. A lot of people that are ambitious and they're lost. They have that ambition, but they're just lost and it has no direction. They just don't know where to put it. It's because you lack a system. And once I realized that, it kind of just made everything way easier. And I can say this definitely helps people that have a background of playing video games. Like the way how I came to process it is just kind of like rules to a game. And once you learn the rules to the game, you can play it better. And then once you get, good at a game, you're a winner. And the winners always have the best shit. So I basically always try to break everything down into a way that's easy to understand. And for a lot of people my age and, almost every age now, because games go way back, can kind of understand the basic concept of the game, is the rules of the game, what you can and can't do, and just go from that. So, and it's crazy because it breaks down to a science when it comes to setting your goals and your habits. You probably wouldn't even think that. However, there's methods that you can do, and when you apply those methods and you implement it into your life and you see the changes that it makes, you're just going to be astounded. And you realize like the way you can almost program your brain to work like a computer. It's ridiculous. So let's get into the next slide. So why can't I achieve my goals? Is there something wrong with me? Am I doing things wrong? No, there's nothing wrong with you. However, you are doing something wrong. And I'm going to show you exactly what it is that you're doing wrong, okay? So, intro. Why can't I achieve my goals? One, you're setting realistic goals. Now, when you hear realistic goals, you're probably thinking going to sleep at 10 o'clock at night would be a pretty basic goal, right? That'd be something realistic. Or saving up $500 or saving up $100. Starting small, that would be a realistic goal. That's the problem right there, is that you're setting realistic goals. We'll get to why that's bad, but you setting realistic goals actually hinders your growth when it comes to what you can achieve in life, because you're setting your goals so small that you're just actually limiting your potential. It's ridiculous when you think about it. Seriously, you need to dream big and just get rid of the idea of setting realistic goals. It's only going to hurt you trying to set realistic goals. I want to provide value to the world. That is my biggest thing that I want to do. I want to be able to help people and help anyone and everyone, because I get a kick out of helping people. To see the smile on people's face and to see when they start learning. Like, for example, I had to train someone recently at my job. And when you're teaching someone something and you can see them learn and they start doing the things you taught them, it kind of puts a smile on your face. It makes your heart feel good because it's like, yeah, I taught this person something. It's almost kind of like raising a little sibling or a kid if you have one. When you start to see them doing the things that you taught them, it kind of makes you happy because you're trying to teach this person to be something good. I want to start a family dynasty. That's my thing, right? I want to be able to provide for my family and provide generational wealth through different means. That way my family no longer has to struggle. That's what I want to do. I also want to be able to provide value to the world. Long story short, just ditch realistic goals. Just get rid of them, right? Then you have no system to aid you in achieving these goals. We'll get to the system. All this will be explained. This is just kind of an idea of what we're about to get into. And the fourth thing is that you've never altered your environment. That's probably one of the second biggest thing after not having a system, definitely is not altering your environment. Because if you set goals and habits even, and you don't alter your environment to kind of match what it is that you want to do, it's not going to make a difference, especially if you don't act out. It's just going to make it harder. Realistically, it's almost just like a little bit of a dopamine effect to just be like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. But if you don't go in and attack each thing that we're talking about here that I just said, it's not going to make a difference. But right now we're going to get into the second thing right here. You're setting realistic goals. It's time to ditch that way of thinking. It's completely outdated. Literally, it's messing you up. Whoever told you this, they indirectly set you up for failure. So don't get too mad at them. However, you have to take into account that this is not a good mindset to have. So you're used to the way that things were being told to you. You were either never encouraged to set goals as a kid, or you were just never taught how to, which is crazy when it's said like that. However, when you really start to break things down, it actually doesn't sound that crazy. Do you ever remember like times in school where they try to teach you how to set goals and stuff like that? Even that way wasn't good. And then when you start to get older and you try to tell people about the goals that you have, like, for example, if you're a little kid and you try to tell someone, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to go be a firefighter or something like that, even, which a firefighter isn't that hard to do. But even then, it's something outlandish that you don't hear a lot of people say. And people go along with it. You know, your parents, your teachers, they'll support that little bit of a dream that you have. But as you get older, you can't, it's almost like society deems unrealistic dreams, even though that's not unrealistic. And kind of like, yeah, buddy, think a little bit more, act your wage. Like, you're not capable of that. Like, if you tell someone, hey, listen, I want to start a $1 billion conglomerate, they're going to look at you like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Get back to work. Like, we're both clocking into a 9 to 5. What are you talking about owning a company or having a business? Like, dude, if you don't sit here and think about how you're going to work this overtime to pay this bill or whatever, I don't want to hear it. Realistically, some people just don't have that support when you tell them that you want to do something big. So you can't be afraid of what other people tell you. You have to be able to kind of reconfigure your way of understanding how goals work in total. Like, you literally have to ditch that old way of thinking is basically what I'm saying. You need to dream big, like bigger than big. And there's a reason why I put Olaf there. If you ever watched the movie Frozen, Olaf's dream, do you know what Olaf's dream was? He wanted to see the summer, okay? Olaf is a snowman. He would melt in the summertime. But that didn't stop Olaf from seeing his dream come true. He actually, if you watch Frozen, Olaf ends up seeing the summer and he lives to tell the tale. So there's a benefit of dreaming big. Setting bigger goals gives you a better rush. Think about it for a second. Let's say you have a business, right? And you're like, I want to make $1,000 this month on my business. Okay, that might be more possible. However, let's say you said, I want to make $10,000 this month on my business. Doesn't that just sound better? If you were like, I'm gonna make $10,000 this month. Say that versus I'm gonna make $1,000 this month. You hear that? It just doesn't sound. It doesn't have that same ring to it. When you set bigger goals, it feels better. When you're like, I'm gonna go to the gym 5 times this week. That sounds way better than saying I'm gonna go to the gym 2 or 3 times this week. Like, and the idea of thinking, dude, I'm really going to go to the gym 5 times this week, even with content creation, right? Earlier, I posted a video a couple days ago, depending on when you watch this, and I said I was going to record 3 videos that day. I am recording right now, because it's the same day, if you can match the days up, 3 videos. That is the idea. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but to me in today's time, all the things I had to do, that is a lot of videos. And just like LeBron's doing down there, I feel like a champ right now. When you set bigger goals and you accomplish that goal, right, you feel better. Not only do you feel better when you get it, but you feel that rush when you're like, I'm going to do this. And when you really think about it and you're really putting the energy towards it, you really do it. Like when I made that video, right, behind me in that desk, I left that journal open when after I went to work, when I was done writing those goals, because I felt as if I left that book open, it would give it a better energy out into the universe to let me better accomplish those goals, rather than if I were to close it, it'll be almost like closing that energy off to the universe. So I left the book open. So coming up short on a big dream is better than coming up short on a realistic one. That is very true. For example, right? I have two examples. Earlier in that same video, I was going to record 2 videos rather than 3, but then I wrote 3 over 2. 2 would have been more realistic for me personally. I could have wrote 1, but I wanted to I said 2. 2 would have been realistic. I could have easily recorded 2 videos, but I knew by saying I was going to record 3, that meant that I was going to actually have to plan time to record either after work or during work, like on my lunch break or something. So that really kind of pushed me to my limit, because now I had to plan out what I was going to do for that video. I'm sorry if this chair is squeaking too much. I tried to put some WD-40 in, that shit still, it's old, okay? If there's a handle missing on this thing, I need to get a new one, but I'm more of the, if the thing ain't leaving me touching the floor, I'm gonna use this thing till the wheels fall off. So hopefully eventually in the future the thing breaks and I'll buy a new one. Until then, I am sorry about the squeaking, because I know that's probably super annoying. But coming up short on a big dream is better than a realistic one. When I actually accomplished, I didn't come up short on it. I accomplished the 3 videos, but pushing yourself, the idea is to push yourself, right? Say, for example, you want to make, like I said, you set the goal for $10,000 a month for your business. And let's say you don't get $10,000. Let's say you get $5,000, right? You actually end up getting $5,000. You got half of what you set your goal to be. Imagine if you would have stuck to $1,000. Half of $1,000 is $500. Would you rather have come up short on that $10,000 goal or that $1,000 goal? Because that, when you set a bigger goal, it gives you that like lock-in mode. You're like, okay, I'm gonna fucking do anything possible to make sure I get done what needs to get done. When you tell yourself, I'm gonna go to the gym 5 times this week or 7 days straight, you're gonna do, if you're really dedicated to your word and you have that willpower, because it takes willpower to get the things you want, or not the things you want. It takes willpower to get the things that you deserve, realistically. That's why it's called willpower, not want power. That's why you got to be careful when you say you want something, because wanting it isn't enough. You need to deserve what it is that you need, right? That way you can get it. Now, when you have that willpower to say, I'm going to go to the gym 7 days this week, if you have that word and you're true to it, you're going to do whatever it is in your power to make sure you try to get in that gym 7 times a week. And let's say you fall up short, and it's like, damn, I went 5 days, I didn't get 7. But it's like, imagine if you would have stuck and just said you would have went 3 times this week. What if you only would have went twice or once? I would have rather had went 5 days than 1 day. Hell, or 2 or 1. That's worse than 5. 5 is way better than that. So the idea is that if you set bigger dreams, if you do end up coming up short on it, the outcome is still better than when you come up short on a realistic dream, because that energy and that extra push that it gives you, you can almost you're benefiting more from it. Even though you're coming up short, you're still better off than what you would have been if you had a realistic goal. And you can set little goals to reach the big goal and create a chain reaction. That is kind of what goes in with habits. For example, right? Let's say you want to reach 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Well, first it starts off with recording a video. Then when you record a video, now you need to get a schedule going. And then once you get a schedule going, now you need to come up with video topics. Then once you come up with video topics, you need to come up with a day to record. Those can all be little goals that you can do. So like, the idea is if you can create that chain reaction, you can get that dopamine build up, and you can just keep going, and you'll just snowball into a giant goal achieving freaking an avalanche. That's the word I was looking for, or an Obama snow. You have no system. This is chapter 4, if you're wondering. How are you supposed to do something if you have no direction? Believe it or not, this is the problem for a lot of us. This was the problem for me personally. This is the problem for a lot of people I come across in email, in audio chats, video chats, forums, is that you know what you want to do, but you just don't know how to do it. And what's crazy? That's kind of like what college is almost for. It's for more configuration for your brain to just kind of get used to being told how to do something. I remember I had met someone from the casino, right? He was gambling. I was the dealer, of course, and he was saying one thing he didn't like about college kids when they come to work at his business is that even though they have the degree that says they can do something, like for example, let's say you have a degree in architectural engineering or like civil engineering or something, and hopefully you would know what you're doing. But when they don't have a sense of direction, when they go to the boss and they're like, what do I do? Or like, what do you want me to do? Not in a sense of like, what work do you want me to do? I can do it, but like, I don't know what to do. You need to give me orders. And the boss is kind of like, dude, I paid you to do this. You need to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand what the guy's coming from. Now he kind of sounds a little bit like a douchebag, because it's kind of like if they're coming for you asking you a question. However, when you're being paid and you have certain expectations of knowing to do your job, I can understand what the guy was coming from. And it's because realistically, we don't have a direction. How does this compare to goals? Is that we have no direction. We're so used to being told what to do that when we finally have the independence that we've sought after for so long when we were younger, we don't know what to fucking do with it. That's why it's so easy to get caught up and lost in bad habits, and you don't even know that they're bad habits until you finally snap out of it and wake up to reality and be like, what the hell have I been doing with all my time? So you need to have a system if you are directionless. No system means no direction. Even if you build up a system, you can fall off and end up becoming directionless again. It happens to everybody. It happened to me even just this upcoming week, because my birthday week is just ended. And because I was out, with my family spending time eating junk food, I wasn't going to the gym. It kind of threw me off on my schedule a little bit, other than going to work, having classes, but it kind of threw me off. And that happens, but the best part about that happening is that you can kind of lock in even harder because now you're aware of it. You know what I'm saying? So there's a benefit to it. Things like that are supposed to happen. So don't worry, but also beware. Just because you have a system doesn't mean that you're just settled for life. There's still bumps in the road. So just always remember that. So number one, you need to identify your habits. So right now we're going to kind of get a little bit into building a system, kind of like the core foundations of it. And I'm still going to have an example that I show you guys after that, like for how I started going to the gym. But like I said, this is going to be completely after all this is done. So one, you need to identify your habits. Take note and track of everything you do. This helps a lot, whether it's eating, like for example, if you want to track like your weight and you want to lose weight, just track down what you eat in the day, from water, vitamins, 1 cookie, 2 cookies, a granola bar, a sandwich, half a sandwich. Be specific, and if you can even get the calorie count of specific things and the protein count, if you're trying to go to the gym and figure out how much protein you get. Because personally, I have a hard time eating a lot of meals in one day, so I get a lot of my protein through protein milks and shit like that. So I try to track down how much protein I'm getting through the protein milks. Some days I remember to do it, some days I don't. So, there's been times I've had streaks where I've done it every day, but things happen. I fall off. However, I've been trying to find ways to make it more convenient because I keep everything in a notebook. So when I don't have my notebook on me, it kind of makes it hard to track it. However, try to find something that's more convenient for you to be able to track these things, because that helps. Even tracking things that you do when you get out of work or when you get home from school, any small little thing that you can do to track your normal routine, like the things that you don't even think that you do. Like for example, if you get home from school or you get home from work and you take your shoes off or you put your backpack down and you immediately hop on the game, that would be one of your habits. Like that's something that you always do that maybe you didn't know. Or maybe that you always go and you leave your shoes, you leave your backpack on the ground, you don't put everything away. That would be a habit. You should, if you can track that, if you can catch in the moment, track those things. But for the most part, even the things like, your normal routine, going to work, brushing your teeth in the morning, those things, you can track those as well, just so you can get an idea of what it is that you do. So if you could do this for about a week, so you can have more accurate data, that'd be better. So that way you know what it is that you do. Maybe you do certain things on certain days, because certain days you do, certain days you do work, certain days you don't work, certain days you go to school, certain days you don't go to school. So if you can track your habits and your data for about a week, just for some accurate info, that's amazing. But you don't have to do that. If you know what it is that you do and your schedule's pretty much the same all around, or you're used to kind of tracking it a little bit, then maybe you don't have to do that step. However, I recommend everybody to do that. Do it for a week, get accurate data, then start building up and structuring things based on that. Number 2, start removing bad habits. Okay, so now you need to start identifying your bad habits or things that lead up to bad habits. So remember how I said before, like let's say, for example, you get home from school and you immediately hop on the game, right? You don't do anything else. You put your stuff down, you hop on the game. Well, let's rewind that. All right, let's think about what you do. Well, first thing is you walk in through the door, you get home, right? You take your stuff off, you leave your stuff there, then you go upstairs, you go in the game. So what you need to do is you need to add something else in between that. So when you come home, how about immediately putting yourself up to hang? Then once you put your stuff away, you hang your coat, you hang your backpack, you put your shoes away or whatever. Maybe instead you can go and read a book, right? So instead of reading, if you want to read the book, let's say the night before or the morning before you go to work, you take the book you want to read and you leave the open book out on your bed or on your nightstand or on your kitchen table. That way, when you come home from work and you see it, you might end up reading the book. Well, you will read the book because it's right there in your face if you really want to read the book, instead of immediately hopping on the game. So you can add a habit before your bad habit, right? That's actually jumping ahead. I probably shouldn't have said that because we're only talking about removing bad habits, but I figured I should implement that into there because it's true. That's one way that you could avoid doing a bad habit, is replacing it with a good habit. That is what you should do. But identify your bad habits and anything that leads up to that bad habit. That's one of the first steps into removing a bad habit. Alter or remove things to prevent bad habits from occurring. If you leave your ashtray, right? Say, for example, you want to quit smoking and you have an ashtray, or someone in your house has an ashtray, maybe putting it somewhere else and telling them, hey, don't leave your ashtray out, or taking your old ashtray and putting it away, or anything that reminds you of smoking or any bad habit, you would just completely remove that, right? That's what I was talking about when I was saying something about that. Then become more aware of what it is you're doing. So this is like being mindful of whatever it is that you're doing. So like I was saying, like if you get home from school or work and you immediately drop your stuff and hop on the game, maybe you don't notice you just leave your shit everywhere. Or when you take a shower, maybe you forget your socks in the bathroom. You don't remember to grab your socks. Or you leave the shower curtain open. Or when you go to the bathroom, you leave the toilet seat lit up. Things like that. If you can catch what it is that you're doing, these little bad habits, you'll be able to identify it because you're catching yourself, and then you can go about ways of removing it. Or if it's not that bad, you could just be like, I don't do this no more, or let me not do this anymore. So daily reminders or limits, I should be doing this, not this, or website blockers or screen time limiters should all help. So if you have trouble with scrolling through social media, if you can catch yourself or send yourself daily reminders, like for example, you can set a shortcut on your iPhone for, let's say you pass 30 minutes on Instagram, it can send you a note reminder or a reminder that tells you should be doing something else and not that. Like, hey, shouldn't you have such and such scheduled coming up? Should you do this? Yes, you can do that on your iPhone if you know how to. It's literally called Shortcuts, I believe. It's an app on your phone. Website blockers, if you use your computer to go on adult websites, or social media, if you still use your computer for social media, which is ridiculous. Motorcycle outside, you can download website blockers. YouTube even, that would help for screen time limiters. I know iPhone has a built-in screen time limiter for apps, but I'm pretty sure computers have screen time limiters too. They definitely have something out there. But these will help you kind of keep your bad habits under control that you may or may not want to completely axe out of your life, that you might not have got to control. Like I said, maybe smoking. Well, smoking could be included in that. Actually, no. Smoking wouldn't be included in that, because you wouldn't want a daily reminder saying that you're not smoking. If you're going to quit smoking, just quit smoking. 3, identify good habits. Look for good things you already do, right? Brushing your teeth in the morning. Maybe you can add in a skincare routine. They can be anything, right? Morning routines, after and before work routines. Eating fruit and reading books are good habits. So if you do those things, that would be a good habit. If you make your bed every day when you wake up in the morning, that would be a good habit. If you take your stuff and put it away when you get home, that would be a good habit. If you wash your dishes as soon as you put them in the kitchen sink, that would be a good habit. those are things you can keep in track of, because you can branch off other good habits or little mini goals off of that to then get to another habit, like a habit stack almost. 4, add good habits that lead to goals. Okay, now this is where getting into the gym and stuff, or reading more, or any goal that kind of progresses, like even like spending an hour working on your business, that would be where this kind of comes into play. So one thing that I do that I wrote on here is add changing into gym clothes after getting home from work into routine. That is something that helped me go to the gym almost every day when I get home from work. I read it in Atomic Habits, and I took it word for word, because he was saying something about when you get home from work, when you take your work boots off, immediately associate with that with putting on your gym clothes. And I was like, wait a second, I literally wear boots to work, so why don't I just start doing that? And that's what I did, and that's what helped me. And that's literally, it can be literal just like that. As soon as you get home from work, put on your gym clothes if you want to go to the gym. As soon as you go home from school, put on your gym clothes. Or when you go home from work or school, if you have your book that you plan to open, like you planned up the night ahead or the night before, so it's open. When you get home from work, it's on your table. You can read it. It's right there. So you got to kind of like set it up almost. If you know what I'm saying, you're setting yourself up for winning. You could add your face care routine into a new morning routine. Like I was saying, like when you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, maybe you could do your face care routine right after, associate that with that. Add journaling or meditating after reading. So maybe leaving your journal out right next to your book. So right after you're done reading, you can journal whatever it is that you read. Like in the video I posted before, the same one I referenced earlier, I talked about how I wanted to take notes or more notes on the books that I'm reading. And what helps me do that is by having my laptop and my journal right there on my top of my desk. So when I'm done reading, I have it right there so I can enter my entry. So the basic idea that I'm talking about is to create a habit stack. It's just the idea that, okay, I already do this. This is a good habit that I do. And how can I add more good habits into the one good habit that I already have existing, okay? And the more good habits that you can build off of good habits, the better your life is going to be. You don't have to worry if you can't keep in track of everything, okay? So like you might miss a day. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up because you miss a day. Everybody misses a day. When it becomes more than a day, that's a problem. However, when you're just starting, you want to be strict on yourself. Don't give yourself any leeway when you're just starting because you haven't built the discipline up yet. That's why going to the gym is realistically a really good way to start up not only how to build proper goals, how to build proper habits, but also how to build discipline, because at first you don't want to go to the gym. So when you start doing something you don't want to do, you do it consistently, you start building up discipline to keep a routine and do something you don't want to do. So you're actually kind of like exercising yourself almost, like your brain, not just your body, because you are exercising yourself because you're going to the gym. So right here, just some bonus tips. I do have people dancing, you see, because they're kind of like happy because now it's like, you know, you learn how to build some habits and get your goals going. Just like, that's a good attitude. Let me just give some credit to the pictures because I did search for these, like the school snitch. Like you see how he's taking the notes. If you watch Recess, you'd know. But bonus tips: track your new system/routine. You can use like a habit tracker. I do have a habit tracker template in the link in description. It should be in the school community and the newsletter if you sign up. Habit trackers work. You can use your phone for your notes. There's so many things you can use for a habit tracker realistically. If you're good with remembering, you can use that. You can use apps like Google Calendar. That's another thing that I use to help me remember when I want to go to the gym, so that way I can see my goals and my habits and my schedule as I'm on the go. Because if I write it on my calendar, I'm not always going to remember it. So if I see that something pops up, like there's a schedule or I have a meeting with a client or something coming up, I can get that alert on my phone on Google Calendar. And I'll show you guys actually. I'll make that another video so I can show you how to structure that. But that honestly helps a lot. There's habit tracker sheets. I already said something about that. Habit tracker sheets are really well. Like I said, if you're interested in the template, just rewind the video and I already mentioned it. The resources in the description below. Number 5, alter your environment. The one thing no one does. That's why it's a golden nugget at the bottom, because literally altering your environment does so much. I talked about it a little bit before with the smoking analogy and the ashtray and putting it away, but that's kind of one way to alter your environment, okay? So how to alter your environment. Look for things in your immediate surroundings that influence you to do something. So this would be an ashtray would make you want to smoke, or seeing a lighter would make you want to smoke something. Seeing sugary foods like maybe a cereal box or a candy wrapper, or maybe your TV remote even. Maybe seeing a TV just reminds you just grabbing the TV and some snacks and just binging and lounging and just doing nothing. Find things in your surroundings that influence you to do something and remove the negative influences and add more positive influences to make you more encouraged to do the right thing. And don't be afraid of change. Everyone's afraid of change. You can't live with a spirit of fear, a mind of fear. If you fear things, it's going to be harder for you to ultimately change your life and become a better version of yourself because you're afraid of change. You know, how can you be afraid of becoming a better person? So, you know, in order to become a better person, you have to change who you are now. So you can't be afraid of change. And all of this is literally easier to do when you track your habits. Tracking things is the most important part because then that helps you see progression. Okay. And like I said, it's okay if if you slip up a little bit, you fall off. That's part of the journey. That's what makes it the best part, is because that's what motivates you more to get in the grind. It kind of gives you that kick in your ass to be like, you know what, I need to focus a little bit harder. I'm not going hard enough. And this last one is kind of like another little bonus. It's be like water, my friend. Don't forget to be fluid. Life doesn't always go as planned. And Bruce Lee says, I said, empty your mind, be formless, shapeless like water. If you know what I'm saying, I'm glad you know already. But for those of you that don't, here's basically what this is saying. You cannot keep up with a super strict schedule. Because if you try to keep up with a super strict schedule, yes, it might sound good in the moment, but you are actually screwing yourself up for opportunity that might just hit you, but it didn't come your way because you followed your schedule so strictly. It's crazy to think about something like that, but it happens to a lot of people. You need to be flexible. You need to have a schedule, yes, of things you want to do, but at the same time, you need to be flexible because life doesn't always go as planned. So if you follow by a strict schedule and things don't go your way, that might fuck up your whole month. Let's say, for example, you thought you were going to have a client buy this property from you, for example, right? And you planned on going to the closing. You planned on doing at this time, the showing at this time. Like, you knew it, and you planned weeks ahead of like how you're going to do everything and how everything's going to roll out, or on what day you were going to go and post such and such video to promote whatever product you have going on, right? Just throwing hypotheticals out there. And it turns out that the opportunity that you thought we were going to get, it never came. Now that just kind of screwed up your whole schedule, right? Now your whole thing is thrown off because you thought something was going to go one way and it didn't. If you aren't fluid, that is going to ruin your whole castle. Whatever you built up is just going to get destroyed. Your foundation is just going to be weak. Even though it seems so strong because of how strict your schedule was and how strict you were going to pursue everything was. That actually was your weakest link, was being too strict. So you need to be fluid about the things that you do. So be like water, my friend. It's not the smartest to try and plan everything to a T because life doesn't go to a T. Life is full of ups and downs. If everybody knew how their life was going to be, if you could just plan your life literally like a book, everybody would make sure they came out as a winner on top. But winners are the people that are perceptive and what's Andrew Tate's favorite word? Perspicacious to their environment and their life and what's going on around them. Check out the habit tracker sheets I created. Link in description. Some book recommendations. A 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss is a good one. Atomic Habits by what's his name? How did I forget his name? What is it? James Clear, I think his name is. Never Eat Alone. I forgot who wrote that book. Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. Yeah, those are some pretty good books. Start there if you want to, understand a little bit more about how the economy works and the mindset you need to have if you want to kind of escape your whole situation. Also, Compound Effect by Darren Hardy is another really good book. If you're interested too, I do have a coaching a link in the description, Calendly. You'll see it. You can schedule everything on there. It's free, so we can speak. I'll show you my little system, how I have my goals set up. I'll show you a little example too that's going to come up. But for more in depth and more one-on-one and kind of like accountability coaching and just making sure that you have the resources needed to that so that you can accomplish your goals, because all this is important. You know, if you don't have the discipline and you don't have the environment, it's kind of hard to stay on track with what it is that you want to achieve. So when you have someone there that motivates you and checks up on you to make sure that you're doing what it is that you say that you want to do and can give you the resources and supplies that you need to be successful, it's nice to have that, especially when everything's for free. So if you really need the coaching, trust me, sign up on Calendly. If you need anything, email me as well if you need specific times, if nothing's available, but I'm pretty sure that every day is available on there. So get started. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of how I go about scheduling my day and how I started going to the gym, right? So here's a little presentation. This is just a test. I was just seeing how this all works. So I started off like this. So we'll make it in blocks. So this right here, we'll make it M because that's my morning routine. I know I wake up in the morning. W this W because then I know I go to work, right? This is like my average day. I get home. And then from here, realistically, I knew that I sleep. This was like my average day. I literally went to work, well, morning routine, went to work, home, and I went to sleep. That was my day before I started going to the gym. Literally, before I read, did anything like that. And I just go with the flow. And it feels like if I felt like editing a video, recording a video here or there, I did it, right? And then I was like, wait a second, I can't keep living like this. I need to figure out how I can make my life better. So one day I went to work. I listened to the Atomic Habits audiobook and a bunch of other audiobooks, and it kind of gave me a structure, and this is what I came up with. All right, so this was, like I said, this was my schedule for how I did everything. So then I realized, like, okay, how can I make my schedule better? Because I want to do things like go to the gym and all that. So in between these things, like I said, I had little activities that I can't get into too much detail because I don't have any space to write it down, that I would do. Like when I would get home, maybe I might record a video if I was up for it. Sometimes I would just go to sleep. I was just all over the place, right? In the morning routines, I would wake up whenever I felt like it. I had no super strict, not super strict, because it's not, like I said, it's not good to have super strict. I just had no direction. So I looked at it and I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. Right? My body does that now. So I was like, I'm going to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. When I wake up, I want coffee. Sorry if it's taking me. I'm stuck at writing like this. So I want coffee brewed, right? Then I'm going to brush my teeth. And then shower, cook, and then eat, and then, or with coffee. So I know that I'm going to finish my coffee here and then work. So that like leads to me going to work. So that's kind of what I broke up my morning routine into. I was going to wake up at 5 a.m. I want my coffee, brush my teeth, shower. Sometimes I do both. I'll brush my teeth in the shower, cook breakfast, eat. Oh, take dogs out. Sorry, I have to take my dogs out. Take dogs. I'll just write that. And then go to work, right? That's what I ended up breaking in my morning routine. So this leads to this, going to work, like how I have it. So then at work, I decided to do like anything that was small, because if I'm at work, I can't do much. So like audiobooks, audio book. I hope I get better at this. Audiobook, YouTube. So that really helps. Going to work and doing YouTube stuff like scheduling shorts. I might read when I'm there. If I'm at work on my break, I might read a chapter of my book. That's another thing that I actually added to my morning schedule, but this is just going to go off my old schedule. But I did add reading in between my things. So now when I wake up in the morning, I actually read first and then brush my teeth, shower, and do all that stuff. Or depending on the day, I'll do all this and then read and then go to work. It really depends on the day and how I'm feeling. If I have the day off, I know I read first thing in the morning when I wake up because I'll have my book next to me. I'll do certain things to make sure that I do it. Like for coffee, for example, I'll set the delay brew option on my coffee maker. So when I wake up in the morning, when I'm ready to start cooking, my coffee starts brewing. So that kind of helps. So like I said, having things that help you achieve things kind of makes the whole process easier. That's why it's good to have a system, because then you can see what helps you. But so I'm at work, audiobooks, YouTube, read. I'll try to add those things. And then when I come home from work, right, I get home. This is what I do now. So I take out my dogs. And then I change for gym. Sorry, this is so ugly. This looks like scribbled dibble, like chicken scratch. So when I get home, I change for the gym, okay? It's the first thing I do. I take off my boots after I change for the gym. Take my dogs out. I get ready for the gym. Then I go to gym. That's simple. Then when I get home from the gym, I shower. Then once I shower, then I'll go upstairs. I'll read another chapter. Sometimes I'll reflect on it depending on what I read. If I read a poem, I'll reflect on it. Then I'll record, edit, and then I'll sleep, which leads to this. Then from here, right, I might journal, like my goals. That's very important. Any goals that I have that I want to do, I'll journal that. So that's very important. So I'll leave it, like I said, out on my desk or by my bed frame. If I didn't read when I got out the shower, now is a good time to read. I'll give myself like 25 minutes before my bedtime to do these things. Or I'll work on my laptop for my little business thing, emailing people. I'm so sorry if you guys can't read this. I'm going to get better with writing. I know I'm looking at this as horrible, but this is kind of the idea of how I structured everything. It's very simple. Like, you just plan out what it is that you do. Once you get it, you identify what it is that you do, and you just kind of break it down of what you want your schedule to look like. And once you get your schedule of how you want it to look, now you just can identify things that can help you achieve that thing faster. For like waking up at 5 a.m., set an alarm. You want your coffee, maybe your coffee maker has a delay brew option. Shower and brush your teeth, you can do that together. Then you can do your face care routine right after. You cook, you eat your food, take the dogs out, go to work. At work, listen to my audiobooks, YouTube, read, get home, take dogs out, switch over to my gym clothes, go to the gym. Now that kind of ensures that I'm going to the gym every day. And then you can take this schedule, right? And you can customize it per day. So let's say that's your Monday schedule, right? So let's just put Monday. That looks a little bit better. Let's say it's your Monday schedule. So now you would take, let's say there's one day, there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, there's Thursday, there's Friday, there's Saturday. I'll split that up for the weekend just so I don't have to draw another box, right? And you would just plop that in here. So your Monday schedule, just put that with an M. Tuesday, Wednesday, almost forgot, Thursday, Friday, and there's Saturday now. And then you would just plop your schedule right to where you want it. So let's say that's number one. And then let's say, for example, let's change it to Tuesday. So we'll put a number 1 over here, just so like you knew what your number 1 schedule is. But so I don't have to draw a whole new thing. Let's just say now it's Tuesday and it's number 2. And let's say on Tuesday, I'll just keep using me for reference. I have a real estate class. So when I get home from work, I can't always go to the gym unless I do at-home workouts. Depends on my mood. I'll do at-home workouts, but I can't go to the gym. I have class. So I'll go to class, right? Then I'll take a shower because my class is online, so I don't have to worry about going in there smelling funky. I'll take a shower, and the gym's already closed, which sucks. And so then I'll record, I'll edit, I'll work, and then I'll read. So like that's my Tuesday schedule. And then I know on Tuesday I do number 2. So you can do that. Like you can break it down to different schedules for different days, and you can see where I'm going with this. You can find different ways to implement it. And realistically, once you get started like that and the ball gets rolling, you're golden. If you need any help with this, let me know. Leave a comment in the description. Reach out to me, email, book a coaching one-on-one call. It's private, it's free on my Calendly. Just pick a time. It'll email me and you, and I'll know when I see it that this is the day that we need to talk. I'll have everything ready. Habit trackers, guides, videos, all that you need to make sure that you're ready. We'll make sure that I'll make sure you understand that, as well as book references. So that's one thing that we're going to be doing together. If you think that you're going to be better in your life and not reading a book, you're crazy. I'm going to at least expect a page a day out of you or something. Like that's going to show discipline, the build up discipline, going to the gym, reading a book. Do those things, whether you start doing it now without the coaching or if you need the coaching. That's one of the things that we're going to do that's going to help you to see the growth. If you want more videos like this, leave a comment and let me know. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave a comment, dislike if you dislike it, and I will see you all in the next video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all learned something. Peace out.